So we'll look at the last topic for today, the proposed increment by some electricity distribution companies, popularly known as discos, on Band A. Of course, a lot of people have raised concern, about the issue of cost of running business. And the recent time, I've seen a lot of businesses closing up because they cannot, meet up, with the cost of living, inflation, and lack of infrastructure. So, and of course, the government or these companies are still raising, the rate for this. So, what do you have to say concerning all of this?
I think that without missing words, it is not proper for the tariff on electricity to be raised or increased at this time in the history of the nation. You look at it that Nigeria is grappling with a lot of issues, especially economic issues. And most of the multinational companies that left the shores of this country, they left because of epileptic power supply. They couldn't cope with running their businesses on generators. Now, what Nigerian ought to do, especially the area of power, is to ensure their steady supply of power at affordable cost. Because for us to talk of industry, one of the challenges Nigeria as a nation faces that we import virtually everything, up to toothpick, we import. Now, for Nigeria to go into industry, industrialization, power is the base. And of course, I know that some countries have gone to Ghana, to some other African countries. A lot of them have gone. Now, the few remaining ones, we still want to force them out of the country because of increased electricity tariff. That's no justification for us. And then also, by the time you look at what the Electricity Act says concerning the billing and so on, you discover that they are running foul of the law. Now they want to increase the tariff, and what that means is that from the other time they increased it, and then when people proceed, they remove the 20 naira or so. Now they want to increase again. And what is the effect of this increment? That one, the manufacturers who depend on power for their production will now add the cost to the ultimate buyer. For example, something that is selling for 100 naira, as a result of the increment, might go to 200 or even 300 naira or more. And that will also worsen the economy of the nation. The best thing for it is government needs to, one, take steps using the law already in place to get these discos to comply with what the reality on ground. And what is the reality on ground? Electricity is something that could be called a necessity, something that cannot be done without. The other time I was made to understand that the electricity supply to UCH in Ibadan was disconnected because of outstanding bill. Not minding that there were some patients in the wards at UCH in Ibadan that their life depended on electricity. Some of them were on life machine, oxygen, and all those things. So these things are things that are not supposed to be done. You see, declare the power sector an essential sector, a sector that government must monitor and ensure that things are properly put in place. Over the years, that sector has given Nigerians a lot of concern. Look at Ghana here.
This is almost out of time.
Yes.
Let me get
Yes, let me say that. Let me say that this recent increase is unjustified and unreasonable. And I will say this: number one, the government should hands off from power, energy.
They should.
No. The generation, the upstream, is still under the control of government. In fact, the national grid should be shut down. Private people who can generate their own electricity should be permitted to do so. As of today, under our energy laws, you will need a license, you will need approval to be able to generate or do anything of that sort. And that approval is not there. That opportunity is, even all this what you are saying, they don't generate.
Yeah, but they distribute.
They only distribute. They only distribute. So I think the real issue is go down to the substratum, which is the generation. Everybody, companies, individuals, private people should be able to generate their own energy sources. There's no reason why we should centralize generation.
Yeah, but and
then you begin to now distribute. You now liberalize and privatize distribution.
But the law that was recently passed before
has not changed. Has not changed.
I think the state can generate and distribute.
Not yet. It's not yet. It's just a tentative process.
No, they signed the law that was signed before. I think the President Tinubu signed. It was made during the Buhari's.
But you still need the approval. You still need the approval of the. You still need the approval. You still need the approval of the federal government. You still need to link your generation to the national grid. You still need to, and that's where the problem is. Until we begin to, that national grid is over centralization of energy, and as long as you centralize, government cannot run the energy sector.
Now we are not talking about efficiency; we are talking about price.
You cannot talk about price without supply. This thing works by economics. If you don't produce enough, you cannot have enough to share, and that's why we are having all these band A, band B, which have been declared discriminatory.
Yeah, because some people have the argument that
because some people have
to the private sector who that are only interested in profit. You know that you might even.
So let it be. So let it be.
I think every coin has two sides. If you look at it, you recall that before now, telephones were not accessible to Nigeria.
Yes.
Before 2001, there was the era of 90
yes.
And there was that only Nigeria was given
the power to distribute to use.
Telephone line, you need to apply, you need
yes.
to wait, and so on and so forth.
Bureaucracy.
All those things. But the moment they now
liberalize it, deregulate it,
then other companies came on board. MTN, the present Airtel, with that was Increment and so on. Every Nigerian now has access to phone.
So in your opinion, unbundling it to reduce the price.
Exactly.
It's better to unbundle it. And again, even in the oil sector, we discovered that today our law enforcement agencies will be there chasing people that are
producing
petroleum products, destroying their distance.
The modular
Why don't
refinery.
you get these people who can do what the federal government cannot effectively do?
Allow them.
None of them is working. Allow them to do this. Give them the necessary backing up. Give them license. Let them do it.
All right.